Capital Olavo de Carvalho, Jornal da Tarde, May 14, 1998. All politicians, intellectuals, artists, community leaders, in short, all wonderful people, want the Brazilian people to be rich and happy, with the assumption that money doesn't bring happiness to those who don't have it. To this end, they devise action plans that consist of determining who should go to the government and who should go to jail, or in severe cases to the cemetery. These plans only differ in terms of the groups of people that make up the two columns on the list. The military believe they should be in government, and those who disagreed, the so-called corrupt and subversive, should be in jail. Today, leftists believe they should be in government, and the corrupt and reactionary, i.e. everyone else, should be in jail. Discounting the euphemisms and other rhetorical flourishes, this in essence is what constitutes the so-called national debate. Can't claim that the distribution of society's most comfortable and most uncomfortable positions is entirely irrelevant to the public's financial well-being. But I have reasons to believe that there are other factors that should be examined before deciding on such a transcendent dispute. One of them is the following. Laozi already said that without money, it's very difficult to make money. He didn't say it exactly in these words, but he said it. It means that to become rich, you have to do something, and that something costs something. So decisive is this second something that it received the name capital. Whatever actions you need to take to become rich, it's capital that provides you with the means to execute them. Material and transportation expenses, support for yourself and subordinates while carrying out the project, etc., etc. There are only 4 methods to obtain capital. The first is luck. Luck is being on good terms with heaven and receiving from it what you need, such as food in the desert or a path through the sea. Moses used this method successfully during the escape from Egypt. The Bible offers several recipes on how to practice this in 2 versions, the ancient or Jewish and the modern or Christian. Both require you to trust, pray, be a good person, not mess with your neighbor's wife, and generally not be a nuisance. The second method, more suited to non-believers, is to use what you already have and squeeze, if possible, the last drops from a dry lemon that has already made 5 lemonades. In an old Sidney Lumet film, the pawnbroker, the usurer, Jewish but morbidly atheist, played by Rod Steiger, explained the technique to a young Puerto Rican who wanted to start a business. Live only on dry bread, always wear the same pair of pants, cut the children's milk ration in half, and if they cry from hunger, beat them. After a few decades, you'll have the capital to begin. The scholarly pages of Karl Marx on the primitive accumulation of capital are worth less than these words, even if they are imperfectly reproduced. The third method is stealing, assuming you have enough physical strength, a precious natural capital, to knock down your neighbor and twist his neck before emptying his wallet, provided there's something in it that justifies the risk. If the goal is to enrich a nation rather than an individual, you'll need weapons and soldiers in greater numbers than your adversary, which means that before resorting to this third method, you must have practiced the first or the second or both for a good while. The fourth and final method is to ask someone who has it, either in the form of loans or investments. In both cases, you must accept the following implacable consequence. If you manage to get rich, someone else will get even richer. And if you fail to stop being poor, that person will make you even poorer. There is no fifth method. The problem with Brazil is that none of the 4 methods appeals to us. The resistance to all of them is, as they say, embedded in our culture, which, to our misfortune, is the work of the same wonderful people who want to throw each other in jail with the goal of making the people rich. We object to the first method because it's slow and uncertain and unscientific, to the second because it's exploitative, to the third because it's imperialist, and to the fourth because it results, as Leonel Brizola used to say, in intolerable international losses. Since we have no capital, we can't act in the economic field. In compensation, we perform with rare enthusiasm and proficiency in the field closest to it. Politics. Politics, according to Carl Schmitt, consists of favoring your friends and screwing over your enemies. Precisely what we've been doing, employing the best of our financial, intellectual, legal, muscular, vegetable, animal, and hydro-mineralogical resources for this purpose. It's not a method for generating wealth, but it's still a method of equitably distributing the existing goods. When we've all spent some time in government and some time in jail, the fair redistribution of wealth, as advocated by the Constitution, will be achieved. At that point, we might be happy, and we'll always have the hope that if money doesn't bring happiness, perhaps happiness will eventually bring money.